I wanted to be at Texas State. I chose to be at Texas State. I'm from Texas. That was important to me. I always knew if the right guy got this job, you better watch out.
You better watch out. This is Win Now or Get Bent, episode 198. If you don't already know, I'm Kev Chardello, coming to you on Monday, July 21st, and we've got Sunbelt Media Day this week. Oh, that means the season is so close we can taste it. I cannot wait. Also got a nice little sneak peek this weekend at the Maroon and Golden Collective NIL event at the Gowans Pavilion at UFCU Stadium. A terrific event. Excited to talk all about that. But before we get there, this episode is brought to you by TGC LLC, the GalindoCollective.com. That's G-A-L-I-N-D-O, GalindoCollective.com, a team of professional consultants dedicated to helping others realize their business potential through people, planning, and practice. Their services cover a wide range of areas such as business strategy, marketing, human resources, and financial planning. If you own property or a business and want to maximize its profitability, contact TGC at thegalindocollective.com and follow their social media platforms on Twitter at TGC_LLC and on Instagram and Facebook, The Galindo Collective. Thank you so much to Rick Galindo, a true Texas State sicko, a Texas State grad. This is the third season that they are partnering with Win Now or Get Bent. Thank you so much to the Galindo Collective. Please check them out, thegalindocollective.com. That's G-A-L-I-N-D-O, thegalindocollective.com. All right, let's get to these Bobcats. Sunbelt Media Days this week on Tuesday and Wednesday in New Orleans. First time in a few years that I will not be there, unfortunately. I'm going to be in Florida, leaving for Florida on Wednesday. My grandfather is turning 90 very soon, so the family is gathering in Florida to go see him. He has yet to meet my son. The youngest Chardello needs to meet the oldest Chardello, so we're going to go to Florida and take care of that one. I tried to logistically make it work out. It's like, New Orleans is kind of on the way to Pensacola, but you know what? This has been a trip that's been planned for a long time with my extended family. So I'm gonna go ahead and just miss this one, unfortunately, because it's the last Sunbelt one. But we will make sure to be at Pac-12 Media Days next summer. On Tuesday, though, lots of coverage for you. I got to catch up with GJ Kinney at that event that I mentioned on Saturday night. I told him I wouldn't be able to make it to Media Day, but he said, we'll still hop on Zoom. So maybe I can get him, Khalil Alexander, defensive end, and offensive lineman Dorian Strawn will be there representing Texas State. Maybe we can get some interviews with them as well. But we will definitely have great coverage for you. Going to watch the whole day. Going to see how that's going to go. Doesn't seem like, if any of you saw the Mountain West Media Day, and they're in litigation with 5 of their current members who are leaving for the Pac-12. There wasn't any animosity, pretty very cordial between all those schools. So I expect the same thing for Texas State, and even though they are departing to the Sun Belt. But very intriguing. Definitely going to tune in. Want to see how that goes. See how what other teams are feeling if Texas State does get brought up. You imagine they will. How do you feel about Texas State leaving? Kind of want to see how some of these other schools are feeling. At least the people in the schools. We know how their fans feel if you're on Twitter. Not great, especially those Raging Cajuns. Salty Raging Cajuns. The Maroon and Golden Collective held the Maroon and Golden Collective, the NIL Collective. They held an event on Saturday night for some of their donors that donate to the NIL Collective that help get funds to athletes. We were invited, me and Zachary Webb. He brought his wife, Courtney, his friend Carter. Carter's awesome. He's a sicko himself. Happy birthday to Carter. He was in town for his birthday. Carter's son, Lane, as well. It was very nice. We got to all come out to this event. Thad Watkins, a lot of you know Thad is. Thad is fantastic, an incredible ambassador for this university. He sent us an invite. I guess I didn't realize what we were walking into. He's like, yeah, there'll be a few players. It should be just, a cool little event. So I was like, great. Looking forward to it. We went to an NIL event for the basketball team at Zelix in the spring, and I figured it would be something similar to that. But this was a lot bigger at the pavilion. 33 players for the team were there. GJ Kinney was there. A good chunk of Maroon and Golden collective supporters, some true sickos. Honestly, I don't think there was any of them that didn't listen to the pod. So shout out to you. That was pretty cool that all of you were out there and were giving me compliments on the pod. It's cool to see you guys out there supporting this team this much. I mean, because a lot of this growth is because of people like you, a majority of it really. But it was fantastic to get the invite. So thank you to Thad, thank you to Maroon and Golden Collective for having us out. We really enjoyed that. Outstanding event, outstanding presentation by Thad Watkins as well. I feel like I learned a lot about NIL. I'm gonna give you the bullet points of what he went over. I'm not gonna do it justice for how he put it out there. If you don't know Thad Watkins, you should, but most of you do. But Thad Watkins, financial advisor. He's I don't know his exact title for the Maroon and Golden Collective, but he does so much for them as well. I know he even gives financial talks to the players. He does so much for Texas State, former player, as I said, as well. A fellow Raider fan, which I can always appreciate in a person. But that is fantastic. And it was him going over NIL and what it's going to look like in the future with revenue sharing and schools now being able to distribute money directly to athletes. It's like, oh, what's the role of NIL? And he went over it great. I probably won't do it complete justice for his presentation, so we'll have to have him on the pod very soon to talk all about this. But we'll circle back to that NIL part. But yeah, like I was saying, this event was great. An open bar, a plate of barbecue, Q&A with the players, a nice tour of the renovations. It was fantastic. I'll just go over some of the players that were there. Running back Lincoln Perry was there. Wide receiver LJ Johnson, new transfer from Texas Tech. Quarterback Keldrick Luster, the SMU transfer. UNLV transfer Greg Burrell. Talik Lockett, we remember him. Big guy on the offensive line coming back this year. Maven Anderson coming over from Cal wide receiver. Took a candid shot of all the players standing in as they were greeting everybody, and he was the one who looked and smiled. I appreciated that. He caught my candid shot. Tyquillen Mims coming over from Southern Miss. He was actually at the media days for Southern Miss last year, so it's cool to see Ty Mims here. Anthony Creese, Kentucky offensive lineman. It seems like he may work his way into the starting lineup. A lot of praise for him. Dorian Strawn, offensive lineman. Blake Smith, tight end. Bo Sparks, wide receiver. Chris Don, wide receiver. Both of them looking a lot bigger, working out with Brett Huth this offseason. Quarterback Brad Jackson. Great to see Brad Jackson looking strong with the mustache. Khalil Alexander, defensive end. Jolazin Landry, defensive end. Bobby Crosby, safety. Don Terry Russell. He's listed as an athlete, but I spoke to Don Terry Russell, and he's going to play some outside linebacker. Tymir Jackson, defensive end. DJ Taylor, new player coming over from Cincinnati. He's going to play DB and kick returner. A lot more kick returner coming in for him. Trez Moore, cornerback. Tadarius Collins coming over from Indiana. Kyron Borda coming over from Arizona State. Kennard Snyder, a new transfer as well. Aussie Longy. His first name is, I think it's Amapolisi Longy, but he goes by Aussie Longy. So that's nice to get the correction on that. Traylon Payne, linebacker. Michael Ngaucha, a new transfer as well. JP Dieter coming over from Arizona State. Bryce Carter coming over from Virginia. Ashton Heflin, Jaden Rios, Cameron Washington, Cannon Grogan, so many players. And obviously you can tell from these players giving up some of their free time to go. Granted, they get a plate of barbecue, but they're giving up their free time a Saturday night to be at this event. And they care a lot about this Maroon and Golden Collective and what the NIL has done for them. It has benefited their life. It's made the college life not nearly as hard. You know, there was a time where these athletes would get one meal a day. It's what Thad was talking about when he played 2011, 2012. It was one meal a day. They'd get a dinner. Now they're getting 3 or 4 meals. They're fed all the time. And so it's just a lot better quality of life for these athletes. Some stuff I learned from GJ Kinney, over 85 scholarships. Now, if you remember college football, how it used to be, 85 used to be the limit. You didn't have to go to 85. A lot of times teams would fall short. I remember that was a big problem here at Texas State when they first went to FBS, because that's the difference between FCS and FBS. It's the scholarship allotment. How many more scholarships can an FBS team can give? 85, and before FCS could give, what was it, 66, something like that. It was in the 60s. And so it was a significant amount more scholarship athletes that you can recruit to come to Texas State. It's just more if you tell them, hey, your school's not paid, your school's paid for. If you come here, it's just it helps you in recruiting. And so being able to go now over that 85, and the fact that Texas State is going over that 85 to not all the way to 105, but somewhere in between, that's just very telling of how much support this program has, how much the support has increased. And that helps with recruiting on more ways than just, oh, you can have more scholarship athletes, but you also get high-end preferred walk-ons, PWOs, they'll if you tell them, hey, look at all these other walk-ons that came on and got these scholarships, because that is a lot of the increase in scholarships was walk-ons that were on the roster last year, then earned their way into a scholarship. If you're able to dangle that incentive on the recruiting trail, you can get some of these high-end PWOs and convince them to come over to Texas State. So I just felt, when I heard that news, I felt like that is going to help significantly with this program and recruiting and all facets of it. GJ Kinney, real excited about Landon Keppel, offensive coordinator. Doesn't anticipate much drop off in offensive scheme. Remember that vertical choice-driven offense that the Bobcats ran under Mac Leftwich and GJ Kinney. Mac Leftwich off to Texas Tech and their $25 million roster that they have coming up this season. Gosh, the Red Raiders, they better win the Big 12. GJ Kinney doesn't expect much of a drop off with Keppel, mainly because him and Keppel have just been on the same page, they're on the same wavelength, because they've worked together for so long. Even going back to when Kinney was the offensive coordinator at Hawaii, Keppel was an offensive analyst there. When Kinney was hired as the head coach at Incarnate Word, Keppel was an analyst during that season as well. When that offense, this vertical choice-driven offense, when it led the nation, FBS or FCS, in scoring with 51 point something points per game, he was an analyst there. When Kinney was hired at Texas State, he came over as the senior offensive analyst in 2023. He was then promoted to assistant wide receivers coach last year. And now when Mac left for Texas Tech, he was promoted to offensive coordinator. And you look at it on paper and you're like, well, he doesn't have a ton of experience. But when you take into account that experience he has with Kinney, when they're going to be sharing those play calling duties, that does help. And he's been around that system, that offense, for a while. So they're going to try to replicate it as much as Mac Leftwich could. It's going to be pretty hard to follow that up, but they don't anticipate a drop off there. Let's see, tight ends. Oh, I liked this from GJ Kinney. He may have been teasing me. I can't tell for sure, but he said the tight ends possibly could be used a lot more this season. He even jokingly alluded to a 13 personnel, which is 3 tight ends, 1 running back, 1 receiver, which I would love. I'm salivating thinking about it. You could do it. He has the personnel. There's a lot of tight ends on this roster. And, I don't ever mean to be overcritical of certain things, but if I may have been pretty critical about their use of tight ends, they don't ever mean, especially they led the Sun Belt in scoring and yards. Like I can't criticize their offense too much over the last couple of years. Would be nice though. Get the tight ends involved. They got some good ones. Blake Smith, I mentioned the Oklahoma transfer. He was at that event. It's good to see him. I know they're pretty excited about him. There's also Ty Stammy. He's coming over from Louisiana, another transfer. Titus Lyons as well. He's been here for a while. Titus Lyons. I think if you have your 13 personnel, GJ Kinney, those are probably your 3 right there. Jake Simpson and Jordan Williams, they were freshmen last year. We didn't see a whole lot from them. Still on roster. Arvis Battle, true freshman coming in. We've heard GJ Kinney bring him up at spring practice, then again at that event on Saturday. So they're pretty excited about Arvis Battle. And then Cole Snodgrass, who I remembered him committing, I don't know exactly when he signed. He's not even assigned a number yet. So he must have just been put on roster recently, but he's a TCU transfer. I know he's originally out of Conroe. Shout out to my mom. Every time I see Conroe, I think of her. It's where she's from. But Cole Snodgrass, he's coming in as well. So that's a lot of tight ends. If you're thinking of the old adage of a pair and a spare, when having a unit of three, I mean that's a unit of three if you have two tight ends. I don't need the 13 personnel. You could pepper in some 12 personnel with two tight ends. You got the guys for it. It could work out. But I digress. Also a consistent theme of the night was conditioning. They talked about that a lot. Different athletes, whether it was during the Q&A time when fans were asking questions to the players and to GJ Kinney, or when just talking to them in private when shaking their hands while everybody was eating and everything. Just conditioning. It felt like it was on the forefront of everyone's mind when they were like, what it was like, how was the off season? We worked hard. We worked real hard. Brett Huth is one of the more coveted strength and conditioning coaches in the country, is what we've seen since he's come to Texas State. I mean, you've had player Chance Main. Remember, when he transferred in from Colorado, he explicitly talked about Brett Huth when he was just like, hey, it was great to just, I wanted to be able to come work out with Brett Huth again, because they were at Incarnate Word together. So you can tell. You look at some of these guys. Chris Dawn looks like he's put on a good 20 pounds. A lot of these players are looking big. Joe Lazen Landry looks like he's put on a lot of weight, muscle, I should say. They've been working hard. I know Brett Huth, he works them hard. You hear Body by Huth, all this good stuff. So it's great to see that. That's somebody I've always meant to get on the pod. I'd still love to get him on here and talk to him. But yeah, you can tell. I mean, even Lincoln Perry was talking about the thing he's the most excited about to get on the field is just show everybody how hard they've worked in the off season, on the field and in the weight room, how hard they've worked, and they want to demonstrate that to fans, to other teams, to everybody. So I like to hear that. Of course, you like to hear that they're staying in tip top shape in the off season. Off the football topic of it all, we went on and did a tour of the facility, checked out some of the renovations, just remarkable renovations. If you remember the old end zone complex where the weight room was, where the team room was, where the coach's office were, that building is still there. They built an entire new building in front of it. That's why I don't even know if renovations, upgrades are the right. It's a complete retooling. It's a whole new building that they built. It's attached to the old one. Yeah, but it's the weight room. It's not like they upgraded the weight room. They built a whole new weight room. Where the old weight room is, it's now a bunch of team rooms, meeting rooms, and now that was a really cool thing that I liked about this tour that we got to see, when we got to see the meeting rooms. The old team room where it was, that's still there. It's just it's repurposed differently, but now each position has their own meeting room. It used to be that that was the one meeting room, the big meeting room, the team meeting room, and they'd have a team meeting there, but then they'd also have position meetings there scheduled throughout the day. Okay, D lineman, you come at 8 a.m., and then O lineman, you come at 9 a.m., et cetera, all throughout the day. Now, those positions can have their meetings whenever they want, or all the positions can have their meetings all at once. So everybody gets their meetings done, and then they all go on to practice, or they all go on to the weight room. Just way more efficient. Even the weight room is way more efficient. The old weight room, I didn't even realize this. It was the smallest weight room in FBS Texas. Now that's 13 teams in the state of Texas. It was the smallest one before this upgrade. It used to be they would have to go in shifts of 5 to go work out. 5 different groups staggered throughout the day. Group the Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E, all staggered throughout the day. Now they could fit all 120 players in that weight room and work out at once. Doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do. It'd be really crowded if they do that. Seems like they're going to have 2 different shifts. But the fact that they can now, I mean, it was incredible to see the weight room. I got to poke my head in the little garage at the spring game, because now that garage, I say garage, it's like a garage door. in front of that weight room leading to the field, right at the behind the crossbar. That's where the team's going to run through. If you were seeing last year because of all the construction, they were running from the side. They were coming in with the motorcycle. Now it's going right down the middle of the field. They're just going right down the weight room. They have a little path in the middle of the weight room so everybody can run through it. It's very cool. It's so cool to see that. To see, of course, I mentioned it on the last pod, the Will Trevilian weight room now. He was a former player at Texas State. He passed away while playing with the Bobcats from an enlarged heart. Um, and he was a workout maven. So I mean, having the weight room named after him, his father, Bo Trevilian, donated millions of dollars to have that weight room built. He even upped his initial donation because he wanted it to be even better. He saw the specs of it all, and he's like, you know what, I gotta donate more. And you even see Bo's racks on the squat racks. His name is on there, so very cool, very cool. The weight room, it's gonna do tremendous things for recruiting. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's a power conference ready weight room. That's a Pac-12 ready weight room. That's right. This podcast believes the Pac-12 is a power conference. For the record, I didn't know if I needed to say that, but I gotta throw that out there. It's still a power conference. Um, there's suites on top of the weight room as well. That was pretty cool. I'm sure a lot of you have seen. I posted a little video of it in the spring. I probably wasn't supposed to post that. I didn't realize, but we had our interviews up there for the post spring game press conference was right up there. So I didn't think it was an issue, but they are having a nice ribbon cutting for the very first game this season. So we didn't take any pictures or videos in or anything, just talking about what we're seeing now. Um, but yeah, I did. I posted the video in the spring of that little party area that's up there. That's looking really nice. They have tables. They're gonna have suites right by in that party area as well. There's some couple that are outside, and then one really nice one that's inside. I'm sure there's a great high price tag on those. I know to get into the little party area, it's a donation in the Bobcat Club. I don't know exactly how much, but it's great angle, great way to watch the game. Honestly, even on the walkways coming up the side, those are finally finished. They even have little tables on them so you can set your drink on it. So it seems like that wouldn't be a bad purchase from the Bobcat Club if you want to go have a rare view of UFCU Stadium while watching the Bobcats play some ball. But it was pretty cool. They're planning more suites on the away side. There's some on the home side already. Now there's some in the end zone. They're going to be looking for more on the away side in the years to come coming up. Same with an indoor practice facility on the away side. They're looking at it. There's no immediate plans for it, so don't get overly excited by what I'm saying. But they're pretty confident that this stuff is going to come down the road. And if when, I won't say if, when it does, they're looking at around the away parking lot because the goal is to not have it too far away from UFCU Stadium so that these players can leave the locker rooms. That was one thing we didn't get to see is locker rooms. I wonder if how those are revamped. But when they leave the locker room to go to an indoor practice field, that it's not like they're walking across Hawk Arena or they're or going anywhere too far, that it can just be right outside the stadium. So I imagine right out where the away parking lot is over there. We learned a lot about NIL and what it's going to look like going forward. Like I was saying, I won't do Thad's presentation justice by going over all the specifics, and wasn't recording, wasn't taking notes during this. So I really want to have him on so he can talk all about it because it is an ever-changing landscape as we've documented on this podcast and as many of you have known over the last few years. But revenue sharing, which now is schools can directly pay athletes up to $20.5 million a year. That'll slowly go up every year like a cap, a small percentage. But this year it'll be 20.5 million. Each team can pay that out. It seems rev sharing and NIL will go hand in hand, at least with the Maroon and Golden Collective, where instead of how the Maroon and Golden Collective was before, you donate money, you could even get a specific athlete make sure this is where I'm donating to. Now you can donate to sports, but that it seems those donations are going to go into a pool, which will be distributed to that sport and go into the revenue distribution pool instead of specific athletes with the Maroon and Golden Collective. And again, I think this is most likely, I want to have Thad on to explain it, but I think this is a great way to utilize NIL and to keep it going forward. Um, it's a little different than paying a specific athlete. I know there's a lot more a lot more stops in between now, instead of just direct a athlete getting direct payment from these companies. I know there's these softwares that they have to upload the NIL offer to make sure it meets all these parameters. So it just seems like giving to the revenue distribution pool is a lot easier than making these individual payments out like that. But again, I'm gonna have that on so we can talk all about it, because I was really interested by that, because I think that is the correct way to go about it, is just go hand in hand with revenue distribution. Obviously, they're going to try and do whatever else they can besides revenue distribution by setting these athletes up. But if you can 20.5 million is a lot, and obviously it's not a lot for some of these big schools. It's not nearly as a lot, but that it's a lot for Texas State. So I don't foresee them getting to that right away. But the fact that they're trying to get that as high as they can, any way that they can, whether it be through NIL collectives or realignment and switching conferences, they are very, very motivated to keep sports going. Again, shout out to Thad. I hope I gave him enough of a shout out. Great ambassador for Texas State. Really, everything that he does, and a lot of it is volunteer work. I know on the NIL side it is. They are that's been the in this NIL, a lot of my and others trepidation with it is the fear of the unknown. Well, what is it? Especially if, like, okay, if you give somebody money and you don't necessarily know where it's going, is this a legitimate collective that is backing from the school? I think when you see 33 players show up, a lot of them are going to be starters, like really good players. GJ Kinney is there. You're at UFCU Stadium. You're checking out the ins and outs of the building. You can tell that this is truly a collective that the university trusts, and it is in their plans to expand when they're growing and going forward. Maroon and Golden Collective is right there in their plans. So it's good to see. It's run by some real good people. Justin as well. Justin over at Maroon and Golden Collective. I'm pretty sure Josh Brenner's still there. I know he moved out of Texas. Shout out to Josh. Hope you're doing great, Josh. One of the greatest sickos out there. But they do a terrific job with the Maroon and Golden Collective. Justin Schaefer. I don't think I said it last. Justin Schaefer. I've met some sickos, some listeners of the pod at that event. Shout out to Curtis Spillman, my guy Curtis Spillman. I wasn't sure. I was hoping I would be able to get away with doing some interviews after on camera. So I wasn't having a beer during the event. But when it ended, it was like, no interviews, not on this thing. I understood that. I got a beer with my guy Curtis Spillman, so that was great. Great to meet you, Curtis. Casey Lowrald, I've met you before. It was good to see you again, man. Tim Lyman, I still owe you a koozie. I'm gonna get that koozie to you. You and your buddy were having a good time talking about that one. Phil H, I didn't catch your last name, but I did. You said it, and I can't remember. But shout out to my guy Phil. Good guy, good dude. Gordon and his wife. I hope I've talked about Gordon before. I know I've talked about Jim Duncan. Diamond Jim used to be a quarterback here at Texas State. They have a great tailgate before the game right by the stadium. I know Gordon is a big part of that. He's somebody I got to have on the pod, talk about some of the old days of Texas State. But it was great. I'm sure I met a lot of people, and I'm sorry if I missed you. Definitely jump in on the mailbag and remind me that I met you. If I'm not following you on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, definitely shoot me a message and I'll follow you. But great to see y'all. Great to see you at that event. Didn't know what to expect when I walked up. I didn't even think I wasn't like, oh, this will be great material for a pod. And as I was there, I was like, wow, this is actually great material for a pod. I honestly was just going to check it out and see what was going on with Texas State, but ended up being an entire episode's worth of great info. So thank you again to Thad Watkins, Maroon and Golden Collective for having us out there, and all the players for showing up there. And it was a lot of fun. Make sure you check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/winnoworgetbent. Check out our merch site, WNOGB.com. I'm wearing the Mad Cat shirt right here, Win Now or Get Bent. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you're not, check us out on YouTube, Win Now or Get Bent. It's our YouTube channel. Twitter @Win Now or Get Bent. Instagram @WNOGB. I was just talking to a fellow media guy. I was like, you got to get in on Instagram. What are you doing? He's absolutely right. Got to do it. I should use his help. He's good at it. Like, subscribe, comment on all our stuff. If you're an audio head like me and you listen to the audio version, I met an audio head last night. I think it was Tim Lyman, audio head. If you're listening on the audio version, shout out to you. You're a man on the go. You got to put headphones in. You got things to do, but you still want to get that sweet, sweet content. So you're an audio head. I get it. That's how I do it. But make sure if you're on the audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, whichever, make sure you're subscribed and you leave a nice little review and a comment. We'll always go check those out. Another thank you to TGC LLC. Check them out, thegalindocollective.com. Thank you to the wizard, Zachary Webb. Always fun to go on little adventures with him like we did at that event. And of course, thank you, Sickos. It was so awesome to meet some of y'all at that event. I'm humbled every time I do meet y'all and you, like at that event, you thank me for what I do in supporting or promoting the school and supporting the team. But really, when I look at the renovations, I look at that weight room, I look at everything that has happened with this. It's y'all. It's the donations that you give. It's the support that you throw at this team, and we're lucky enough to document it and talk about it and have people tune into it. And it's growing and growing. I was talking to Curtis Spillman about that. Ever since all the Pac-12 stuff, it's been growing and growing even more, and we are very thankful. So I'm not worthy of your thanks. You're worthy of mine. So many, many thanks to all you sickos. We'd be shouting into the void without you. But all right, until next time, win now or get bent.